is our Team Talk project. We've probably got about 26, 28 guys logged onto the call now.
Good.
Team Talk's all around mental wellbeing. We've got two different parts to this project. Half the guys are kind of with us every single week on a Wednesday. The other half are part of our Veterans project, which is a kind of 12-week number.
Okay.
And they've just finished their course actually, so they're looking to move them into different things going on for next week. The format, we've got prepared a couple of the guys would kind of like to tell their story,
okay,
a wee bit about why they've been part of the project and what they've got from it. We've then got a few questions for you around how you've dealt with setbacks in your career, and then we'll go and bring some other guys in to ask a few questions, if that's all good for you.
Yeah, that's cool. Fire away. I'm ready. From my point of view, it's okay not to be okay, and having that support network, they don't have to be close friends, just people that you can share situations with will be a big help for you, so well done to you for doing that.
Morning Stephen, morning guys.
Hello mate.
It first started for me through my military service. I got injured when I was crossing Belfast, which put me in hospital, which automatically started the downward spiral of mental health. I then got married, and as my marriage went on, I could see it was starting to go downhill due to the anger bursts, the anxiety, the depression, all that sort of stuff, up to the stage that my wife actually left me, which drove me to suicide. And it wasn't attempting to suicide, it was more or less suicide, to the stage that I had 24 police officers, a police helicopter and a dog unit that actually found me. And it was through sort of like Walking with Wounded, through Healthy Heroes, and definitely through Rangers, that coming onto these groups and going through your different things, like your relationships, your anger, your anxiety, that it did actually open my eyes, and it gave me the motivation. And meeting some of the great guys that I have on my course, that, to be honest, on day one, there's no way I would even thought about talking in front of this amount of guys, never mind in front of a god like Steven Gerrard.
I'm not sure about that.
It's definitely a big thanks to sort of like Rangers Football Club for putting all this together, through Walking with Wounded, Jordan and John and the rest of the team. So thanks a lot for listening.
I think the guys at Rangers and in the charity and the foundation side of it do a wonderful job, and this is the reason why we do it, to help and support guys like yourself who've had experiences where setbacks in your life, if you like, and you feel like you've got no one to turn to. So well done again for opening up on here and releasing some of your feelings and your anxieties. I mean, I can't relate to anyone's personal life stories, for example, but in terms of my own life, I've had some injuries in the game that have took me to low places. So I can certainly understand and relate to certain feelings that people get through injury and not being able to live your life from a normal point of view moving forward. So I think the thing for me is never ever feel alone. No matter where you are, there's always someone, there's always a group of people, whether they're friends, family, or courses like this that can help you with your own personal experiences and try and get you more towards a better place in your life. So I admire all of you for coming on and sharing your stories. I mean, sometimes as men, for example, you feel too proud to open up, but for me it's certainly for the better, and you can put yourself in a better place by doing that.
We've kind of spoke a lot in these groups constantly every week about how players and how guys like yourself at such a high level deal with the stresses that are put on you. Have you ever had that really tough experience, and how do you kind of cope with that?
Well, listen, I think in life there's certain things that are above football. I know none of us want to say that because we all love the club, and growing up at Liverpool and now being part of Rangers, football is a big part of my life, but as a manager you have to deal with certain things that are above football. Sometimes your players lose a family member or someone really close to them. One of the loved ones could have a terminal illness, for example. There's certain things that happen that fans and people on the outside don't see, and it's my job to make sure that I'm as big a support as I can be, And there's certain times where I've got to put football secondary and give them the support that they need from a lifestyle point of view. That might be, they might need to be away from the game for a little while, they might need some family time, they might need ongoing support, they might need someone to come and open up to in a 1v1 situation and get stuff off the chest. And you know, I want to be a type of manager that is always there for me players and me staff, where it can't just be always football. I need to be that care and that support for them from a lifestyle point of view as well. So we've had to deal with many things up here at Rangers, and I had to with my younger kids when I was the Liverpool under-19 coach, and you just want to support them in any way, shape or form to try and get them back in a better place.
Just touching on what you've mentioned there, has there been anything in particular that you and the management team have been able to kind of do with the players over lockdown, given we've all found it really hard, so I'm sure the players have as well, particularly if they're away from families and so on?
I've found it really challenging from a personal point of view with my own family. You know, I've got 4 kids, and it's very difficult to explain to a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old that they're not allowed to go out the door, they're not allowed to see the friends and the family, they're not allowed to go to school. So, and then I've got my older girls. One's just got a boyfriend who can't understand why she can't see a boyfriend, and I've got a 14-year-old who doesn't even want to be in school, but she's got to do homeschooling and she can't get her head around that. So I've had personal challenges myself along the way. But along the way, we made sure from a football point of view that we had loads of Zooms, a bit similar to what you guys have been doing here, where we gave the players the opportunity to talk. We tried to put some quiz activities on. We tried to do some tactical and technical Zooms in terms of presentations, just to keep them, you know, involved, give them something to do, try and take them away from some of their own little insecurities and concerns about the lockdown, because I think all of us were just a bit lost because no one had an end date or an end goal to work to. We didn't know when it was going to end, so it was challenging for everyone. But as a club, what I will say is we've done everything to try and support the players and the families during what was a tough time for everyone. That goes for the academy and the ladies team as well. We've done a lot of Q&As with the players. We made sure that the players went on to support the younger kids, just to give them some fun so they could ask the players some questions. And we really connected as a club, from the ladies team to the academy to the first team, to make sure that we were all active during the lockdown. And we gave them training sessions as well to keep them ticking over from a fitness point of view and a health point of view as well.
Hi there, Stephen. Thanks very much for listening. My question is, obviously everybody here are all about mental health, all had some issues. What I wanted to know was the pressure of being a Rangers manager and the pressure of being a Liverpool captain, are they comparable, or is one more different than the other? And how do you cope with these sort of pressures? Because I know that most of us supporters against managers and players are human beings, and they still suffer the same pressure as the likes of me and everybody else. I just wanted to know how you cope with that sort of thing.
Well, I think both roles are very different. Obviously, being a player, you have the support of your teammates, and it's a collective effort, if you like, in terms of the football side of it. But during being a player, it's not always fantastic, it's not always enjoyable. You know, the journey does take you to some really high places in terms of winning stuff, but it also takes you to some cruel lows as well. And on the back of them cruel lows, you can have some real days where you don't feel great and you're a little bit down, and you need people around you to really help pick yourself up. What I will say is I'm quite mentally strong in terms of bouncing back. You know, I've come to terms with accepting that during being a player or a manager, it's going to be a journey of highs and lows, and you have to deal with the bad days as well as the good days, and have that bounce back ability to always come back stronger, and try and use setbacks and disappointments in your life to make you stronger and come back better and learn from certain situations. But there's no doubt about it, I've had some down days and some low days during my career. From a personal point of view, I've also had some setbacks in life to do with family members and stuff. So I think the key to it all is never keeping it in, and never thinking that's the right thing to keep it in, and always try, if you can, to have people around you who you can talk to and share setbacks with and share problems with. I think that always helps to get back in a better place. That's what I've learned from experience. In terms of the roles, I absolutely love the role I'm in now. It's very different from being a player, but I've still got a team of people around me who I trust immensely, who I share certain things with and get a lot of guidance from. And you know, it's one of them things moving forward. We're on the back of a real important year from a success point of view, from a league situation. But at a club like this, it's always about, at the end of the season, you know, where have your setbacks and your bumps come from? How can we learn? How can we get better? How can we grow to make sure that they don't happen moving forward? And that's what we've tried to do year on year.
Hi there, Stephen. Thanks
Hello.
for taking the time to do this.
No problem.
So my question is, did you ever notice players who were struggling when you were a player and now you're a manager? Is it something you take time out to have a look at, just in case you can think someone might not be in perhaps the best place with the mental?
Yeah, I think it's something that you can. I'd like to think I'm a good judge when you build relationships with people. You know how they're feeling. You can try and read their behaviours. You know, when you're part of a football team and a football culture, you spend a lot of time away from the training pitch and away from the game in hotels around the training ground. I think you can pick it up quite quickly when someone's not themselves. And I was always someone, because I was a captain so early, I always like to ask people how they are. I like to take people away and have coffees with them and try and get a feel for how people are feeling away from the game. You know, and always try and be there for people if they wanted to talk about stuff that was private and stuff, and try and be that support network for other players as well. And obviously I've got that on a bigger scale now, being a manager. You know, you'd have to be there for the full group. You'd have to be there for your staff as well. And I want to be that manager where they're comfortable coming to share things with me if they feel like it's going to help them. My door's always open. And we've dealt with all kinds of different stuff. Obviously it remained private, but on all kinds of different levels in life and football, we've had some real private chats with the players, and tried to be that support network for them.
When you were a player, was there ever a fixture you look forward to playing the most, and why?
There was a couple actually. Manchester United, I think goes without saying, that was the big rivalry down in in England. And I used to like the local derbies against Everton. I like the Old Firm as well, and I think that's no secret. So yeah, always the big derby games and the big head-to-head at the top of the table are the clashes I used to look forward to.
My question is, what's been like your high point of this season so far?
I think at the beginning of the season, just getting back into this building, John, and getting training and getting in amongst the group was a big high, and I got a real good feeling about the season. We'd had a lot of talks during the lockdown on the Zoom calls, had a lot of one-to-ones and a lot of unit and group meetings with the team. I got a real special feeling at the beginning of the season from the players. But obviously the night of the St Mirren game, after we finally got it over the line from a 55 point of view, I think that's been my best feeling at Rangers by a long way, and it gives us the hunger to go and try and build on that now and achieve more. That was a big part of the remit when I came here from the board, what they wanted. So to do it in this historic year was a real special feeling for everyone connected at the club, and I think that has to be the highlight.
Stephen, just a quick one on this initiative as a whole, and how positive a development that is, and also just with regards to wider football. I think there's probably clearly people in the game that still don't necessarily take this kind of thing seriously. What would your message be to those people still involved in the game?
I think start taking it serious. This has given me a big lift coming on here today. I think it's a fantastic project. I'm not sure that's the right word for it. I think a lot of clubs, certainly in this country and also down south as well, put a lot of hard work to support people who need it. And myself from a personal point of view, and I know a lot of the players or all the players echo this in saying that we want to do everything we can to be more connected to the fans and help them in any way we can. So I think it's a great initiative, and I think there needs to be more, and we need to keep growing it as a club from a Rangers point of view, and we'll do everything we can to do that.
I know you said about the balancing, you have that balance now between what happens at the low points and the high points. Was there a time in your life where you didn't have that, and is there a moment you can pinpoint where you wish you had that balance?
I think it's something I'm still working on. From a personal point of view, it's part of management. I think it's part of everyday life, that you have to accept that some days are going to be better than others. Certainly from a football point of view, we know that's going to be the case, and it's me, still being a young manager, still trying to grow and evolve and get better. That was one area where I felt I needed more. I needed to get better at and focus on from a personal point of view. So, as I say, it's a work in progress. But in this position, it's very important that I do try and remain as balanced as I can when facing adversity or from a successful point of view as well.
I just wanted to ask you, how many players are going to be involved in the Euros this summer?
Oh, good question. We're hoping we've probably got about 6 or 7 involved in it, but I don't think anyone has had full confirmation just yet. I think normally national teams wait till a certain date, till the league's coming to an end and the games are finished before they name squads, just in case someone gets an injury or something happens where they can't go. So I think we're on the cusp of squads getting announced. We're hoping that 6 or 7 of our players go and represent the club in the best way they can.
Brilliant. Stephen, can I just say on behalf of the Charity Foundation and all the guys on the call, just how much a pleasure it's been.
No, it's a pleasure for me as well. Thanks for listening.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Stephen.
Cheers. Take care, guys. All the best.